On today's episode,
I fear I may have been a bit of a genius, chat.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
Voila.
that's wrong because I don't know how to look at things. Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of making electric pop-out windows on my BMW E30. So in the last video we had quite a few problems. My passenger side motor did not seem like it was working. It seemed like the linkages were binding up, and overall I was just having electrical issues. I have solved pretty much all of those issues. I haven't actually done all of them because obviously I want to show you guys. But the main issue with the linkages was on this motor right here, how this arm is poking out and the window is open. So on this side, you can see I've got it properly mounted now, but on this side, this part, as you can see, is now in and the window's closed. What happened was that was out and I was trying to mount the window closed. So that's why the linkages were binding up, because basically I was trying to mount it when it was closed and it was having to go too far down and blah, 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 blah. And also I thought that the motors were not mirrored. I thought they were kind of mirrored and inversed. That's wrong because I don't know how to look at things. So they are actually completely mirrored, which means now I do have them mounted exactly the same way with the exact same linkages. So you can tell this thing works now. It's obviously not fully tight. I'm missing a bolt and obviously the wiring's not done, but that's what we're going to work on now. It also turns out that the keyed 12 volt that I was using was not keyed 12 volt and it was 12 volt hot, like constant 12 volt. So that meant that because I had my motors also wired wrong and it was getting constant 12 volt, whenever I had everything hooked up, the motors were just trying to go back and forth constantly because they were getting constant 12 volt signal to open and close simultaneously. So I believe I have figured out the correct way to wire it, and I've also found a correct keyed 12 volt hot, which is just the window motors. I don't know why or the window switches, I mean. I don't know why I didn't think to just do that. So I'm going to be tapping into this green and yellow wire right here. I've got some splice connectors and I'm just going to go a little bit farther back like that and splice into it and run my keyed 12 volt off of that, since all the switches are going to be in the same spot anyway. And then the very last thing we have to do is cut this up and try and fit it in there. Now I think I may actually move my hydro. Now that my shifter is in, I can actually move it a little more this way. And I've already got holes there from where I had mounted it before, but I wasn't sure if the shifter would clear it. Now that I know it will clear it, I can actually move it a little bit closer, which will give me a little bit of room right here. But I think what I'm going to have to do is kind of cut right here. Possibly I may even be able to cut up here some and just kind of cut out a little bit like this, and hopefully try and like wedge this thing over the shifter and up against the hydro. I've seen a lot of people that they can like cut it out and slot it in there and it's all nice and clean. I'm really not too worried about that. I'm kind of going for the easy solution right here. But one thing we will have to do is figure out some sort of a bottom mount, because someone cut this off, but it may not be needed. So I'm going to be using one of these splice connectors. If you've never used one, they're really easy. You just feed one wire all the way through, and then you feed the other one kind of halfway through, and then you just snap that down and it makes a connection. Also, I know the audio is going to be a little bad on this video. I don't know what's going on, but my Rode wireless mics that I'm using, for some reason the receiver is just like not holding a charge. I fully charge it and then I go to turn it on and it's dead. So I'm not sure if it's completely dead or what, but just bear with me. Okay, so I got this wire that I'm going to use for the keyed hot going to the switch. I've got it spliced into this. So now turn the ignition on, and then we'll use our test light right here to see down here. Voila. All right, so you can see it goes on. Boom. All right. So we now have a keyed on wire. So now I just need to do a quick little bit of research and refresh myself on which terminal this goes on the switch. And then it's just a matter of hooking up the motors in the correct way. What I am going to do is I am going to have to close this one first, because you can see right now that one's open and that one's closed. So I need to close that one so they're both in the closed position, and then I'll attach them to here, and then we should be able to test it. And they should hopefully both open, but I do need to rewire these. I'll have to go back and watch a video which way I had it before, but I'll have to swap these around. Okay, I've got my 2 wires. So I've got this one, which should be the closed connection. Yep. All right, so that one can go onto either of these pins, because the way I have it laid out, if you remember, one relay is for the closed mechanism and one relay is for the open. So it's these 2 pins right here that I need for the open and closed, but it doesn't really matter which one I use. But it does look like I was correct, and this top one is the keyed. So now I still haven't hooked up that motor yet. So that's what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna set you guys up so that we can get those wires connected all the way down here, and then we'll double check to make sure that they both open and close at the same time, and then we're just gonna move on to cleaning this up. Obviously I have a of a mess down here. That's all like other stuff, so I'm gonna get it all out of the way. I'm gonna get the switch in the center console up here somewhere, and then I'm gonna work on like routing the wires, zip tying them together so it's nice and clean and tucked out of the way. But yeah, I have fixed the wiring. Apparently the problem all along was when I was wiring up my relays and everything, I was under the assumption that if the relays were grounded and they were connected to the switch, that the whole system would be grounded. But whenever I was turning my key on just to the key on position and I was touching the wire to the switch, the motors were instantly going. So obviously that was not correct. So what I did just to see if it would work is I connected the ground wires to the OEM pins, grounded it to a clean chassis. So I basically just grounded out the switch as well and hooked up everything as like an OEM switch would be, and it works. Look. So open is going to be down, which is open. And then down close is closed. Yeah, buddy. All right, let's get the battery hooked back up and test it out. Battery is on and nothing's running, so that's a good start. Now we're going to key on. Okay, nothing again, good. Now I'm going to try and open them. Well, they don't exactly go at the same speed, but they both work. You guys have no idea how much of a relief that is. I hate electrical, and this has just been way more intense than I thought it was going to be. But it's done. So let's get that center console in here and we'll take a look at it and see what all is going to be involved for cutting and trimming. I don't think I'm going to move the handbrake. Frankly, I just don't really feel like it. I think it's going to be fine where it is. So I'll just cut more of the console out. I don't really care. And we'll try and get the switches in and see how clean we can make this thing. Okay, as I was watching that back, I realized that I think the passenger side is going out slower because I haven't tightened down all the linkages yet. So I think it's kind of torquing the motor on the mount before it's actually pushing the arm. So that should be fine. Either way, it's good enough for me. So I'm gonna try just cutting a little bit off first. I'm gonna try cutting like right at the bottom of this switch and up and kind of over like this, cut out a chunk like that. Because I think I might be able to like slot it in the shifter and kind of go around the hydro like that, because I don't want to take out more than I need to. And the hydro just, it doesn't take up a ton of space like this for the base. And then with the arm sitting up, I mean, it's going to be like around right here, and then the solenoid is going to come out like this. So I'm going to try just taking out like a 4 or 5 inch section right here and go from there. It's not great. It's still not fitting. I'm going to switch this master cylinder around because this can flip 180 degrees. So I'm going to put this thing's loose right now. I'm going to put it back in its location, but I'm going to flip this so it gives me a little bit more clearance here. But I think either way, I'm going to have to get rid of this switch as well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. And we're going to have to run one switch here, another switch here, and then I'm going to see if I can fit a third switch right here at the back. So it'll just be all 3 switches on this side.
All right, day 2 working on these window motors. I got my mic working again. I charged it overnight. It seems to be doing okay. I got some of this like I guess they call it conduit. It's just that like corrugated plastic stuff. So I think I'm gonna use that to hold all the wires. That way they don't get damaged. And let me show you guys what I'm gonna do. So we can see I got all those draping down here, and then the power wire back there, and then these going together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna actually like lay them up on the parcel shelf with that conduit. And since that conduit's like split open, I can just add whenever I need to. So I'm gonna have it going along there. And then where these and the power wire connect, I'm gonna have it turned down and they're all gonna group together right there. I'll probably throw some electrical tape on it because it'll probably wanna pop out. I got 10 feet. I don't know if it's gonna be enough to do the whole car, but I'm gonna go as far as I can down here. And even if it runs out like right here, it's not a big deal because I'm just gonna tuck it up under the dash. What I was saying is there's 2 holes up here that I think I'm just gonna run zip ties through, so this conduit will just stay up here. That way it's not all flapping around, and that'll be nice and clean and tucked out of the way. And then I think over on this passenger side, I'm just gonna tie into this little, it's not a frame rail, but it's just like a little tube over there. This is that rail I was talking about down here, so I'm gonna just do one right here. That'll be perfect. Boom. See, I still have all this spaghetti, but from here back, all now looks a million times better. So now I want to work on, like I said yesterday, these wires are hanging down. These are kind of not where they need to be. So I'm gonna take this trim out and I'm gonna see if I can lay the wires going back that way, so that way this console is not in the way. I fear I may have been a bit of a genius, chat. One switch for the driver's window. Second switch for the passenger window. Side switch for the side windows. And since now the pins are going this way, it's going to be easier for them to come out and go that way instead of having to go down, because you can see how much more clearance this has. Plus it's got just a sealed base, which is obviously a lot better than just all my loose terminals, which I might see if I can do something with down the line, but that's not a right now project. So let's go ahead and see if I can get this thing back in and get everything plugged up. That is much better, and I'm a happy camper. Well, and with that, that's gonna wrap up this mod. I'm super stoked on this switch location. I think it's classy. I think it looks really good. It's also functional, and it's kind of sneaky. Like, people ask like what that side switch is for, and I can press that and windows fly out and everything like that. You guys saw in the beauty of editing, I finished up all the conduit, wrapping all the wires up, because as of now, being the past, it's not done. It's still a tangled mess up under there, but I still have a ton of wiring to do outside of that, which you guys will see in the next video. I have something that's not very good that I have to show you guys, but thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial that I've been doing, this little 2-part series. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and tell me if I did a good job or if I suck.